recording. Hi, this is April and Bethany, and today we're going to do a quick review for everyone that has taken our whip making classes on how to end your whip. This first video is going to be how to drop, specifically from 8 strands to 6 strands, and then 6 strands to 4 strands.
So right here we have the drop point that we want. We have it over 2 in the middle, and we can see that we have 8 coming down. Now when we drop, we want to do 6 strands over 2 in the core, so it means we can't have anything in the core when we drop it in. So we're going to first start by cutting exactly where we want our drop. In this case, I'm going to do it probably about right here. And then we take a lighter to the ends, just sealing this up, and make sure that that all stays together. And then I specifically have already thought to cut this strand right here, so this yellow one and this yellow one over here. So I'm going to continue plaiting my normal 8 plait. Till I get to this point. So for the next plaiting style that we're going to use is going to be under 2 over 1. So if you notice right here, if I do this strand like I normally would, which is under 2 over 2, so it goes under these 2, over these 2, I could just ignore this yellow strand and it would be under 2 over 1, just thinking of it as the black one. Now if I do that, it's just the exact same one as a 6 plait. So notice on this side, if I do that same idea, where I'm bringing this yellow one and just ignoring it, and when I come on this side, I'm bringing this around, going under 2 over 1. Now that's exactly like the 6 plait that we are doing. So now that these two are already in the center, I'm simply going to hold these near the center. And then the next one will be this strand here, going under 2 over 1, under 2 over 1. So for me, I like doing also 6 over 1 and 5 over 1, so a 6 plait over a single strand. So for this one, I'm going to make sure that these are tightened down. I'm going to figure out which of these that I want to cut first, which is just going to be this top one. And then I'm going to plait a 6 plait, but over a single strand. Now I do cut this at a slight angle. This also helps it taper a little bit more instead of a abrupt drop off. But otherwise I'm going to continue my 6 plait.
For how many inches, approximately?
Depends on the length of the whip. For shorter whips, this will probably only be like 1 or 2 inches. For longer whips, it'll be about 3 or 4. And then for even longer whips, it's kind of what you want your transition zone to be. For most people in our classes, since we are doing really short whips so that you can do a whole whip in the class, I think we had this set at about 3 inches to go from a 6 to a 4. So then your over 2 is probably over 1 inch, and your over single core is probably only over another inch or 2. So now that I'm at this point, I'm going to be dropping this to a 5 plait. I don't mind odd plaits, some people don't. It's just then you get to drop a single strand at a time rather than 2.
But it's personal preference if you like to keep your plaits even or if you go odd. If you go odd though, just make sure you keep it straight. That's what gets tricky.
Yep, so the next ones I'm also going to drop another set of yellows. So I'm just bringing this around just like I normally would. And then for me, just so that I have it a little bit more even, if I drop this side, when it shifts up, these will immediately become detached, versus if I drop this side and the red shifts up, this right side, the angle here, if it shifts up, will stay up a little bit more, so it'll still come aligned. So if I drop this yellow first, it'll stay aligned a little longer.
With the pattern.
Yeah. If I only drop this and immediately switch over to the 4, like if I were to then immediately drop it and switch now, you'll notice the red and the black are still touching each other. So the red's still touching the red, the black's still touching the black. But if I do this for 2 more iterations, you'll notice, I'll do this one more time. On this iteration here, the red is no longer going to be partnered with the red.
Black.
Sorry. So you'll notice this yellow, then it'll be red, red, black, black. So they're still together. They're just on the alternate side. So now this enables me to do is keep those in touch just a little bit longer. It's not so imperative when you're down to the 4, but it's just a little bit nicer. So now you'll notice that I have this red and then yellow. So now the pattern does break up a little bit. But luckily, I'm already going to be dropping this yellow right here.
Okay, we've re-clamped so we're a little closer to the table, keeping it centered. And we are ready to do our 4-plat.
So now our 4-plat is under 1, over 1. And same on the other side, so this black piece goes under 1, over 1. And remember, I just want to keep this enough so that it keeps this tail down. So for me, personally, I'll probably only do about 2 inches or so for this particular one.
But you can put like a spot of super glue or some athletic tape inside of the whip and then plait over it if you're uncertain of how tight your whip is, and that will make sure that the strands cannot come out of your overlay.
Other options are, once you get to this, you can melt it from the back and press it all together, and that will make sure this never ever pulls out. With how tight I'm particularly plaiting this whip, I'm not going to worry about so much. Other options is to melt a rather larger end, so this end right here, if you melt it larger, it's harder to pull through. But otherwise, there's all your drops. You just need to go and finish the whip.